Good morning, everybody. It's Monday Morning Coffee with Kyle and Dan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm Ann Rossley. I'm here with Kyle.harvey, and we sell real estate in downtown Chicago. And we are excited to talk to you about what's going on in the luxury market this week, right?
Yes.
Should we jump into stats?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. We're going to talk first single family homes in the lakefront communities. And for all my slides, I broke them down this week, Kyle, by price. And you can see starting at $1,250,000, that's kind of the median sales price. So we're going to look at median sales price and down, and then higher up in price. And so last month, 30 homes less than $1,250,000 sold, and 7 for $2,500,000 sold. So that's kind of how we're going to breeze through these.
That's interesting.
Under contract, 18 under $1,250,000 and 6 over $2,500,000. The thing that strikes me, and I think the key learning from this slide is there is a lot of seasonality in the lower priced, less seasonality in the higher priced. And this is something you and I think, as we were talking to our luxury clients over the last couple of years, talked about.
Yes.
It's really nice to see it, that what we feel is really what's happening out there. These are the number for sale. And this is astonishing to me. Look at this, 87 under $1,250,000 and 82 over 2.5.
Just shows inventory is really impacting the lower price homes.
And
those are much more interest rate sensitive as sellers as well as buyers.
Yeah. So of course, that reflects an absorption rate. I changed the title to absorption rate because really I think it's easier for everybody to think of it in terms of how many months to absorb what's for sale given the current rate of sale. So so lower priced, 2.9 months to sell it out, very much a seller's market. 2.5, 11 months. And 11 months is what we typically see in these high price ranges, right? I mean, that's not terrible. That's just what we're used to seeing in the Chicago market. All right. Showings per month. 2.5 and over, not even a showing a month. So if you're thinking of selling your luxury home, everyone, expect one showing a month. That's what, you're going to get. And then the others, 3.4, 3.7 showings per month. And here's the other key point. This does not include people who come through on open houses.
No, it doesn't. And it also doesn't include people who don't use showing time. So, and a lot of the luxury people don't use showing time. I do, but a lot of people choose to say, call me.
Right.
We can discuss.
Okay. You asked me last week. You ask, I listen. Showings to contract. And again, for 1.25, 7 showings to contract for the upper bracket 5, and 1.8 to 2.5 is only 3 showings per contract. Interesting.
That's interesting.
Is it possible that because it's more, I'm just spitballing here, people in the $2.5 million range have very precise requirements and needs, and they aren't looking at as many, right?
Right.
This isn't their first rodeo.
This is not their first rodeo, and they've done a lot of research beforehand.
Yeah.
And the more expensive the property, the more information is available, like video tours, like luxury brochure. There's a lot of information that they can get beforehand and rule things out.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, condos. Now, I kept the same price points, but I think this is hilarious. You can see that 712 condos for sale. Oh, condo sales last month under $1.2 million. And that's because our median sales price is $400,000.
I was going to say, good Lord.
I know, Right. But I know I kept it anyway.
I know, but it's interesting because we're talking luxury, really.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah.
So,
Wow.
condos for sale, 2223 versus 142 in the upper bracket. But this is where it starts to get interesting. Absorption rate. Again, it's a seller's market
In the lower end.
in the lower end. Even if you go up to 1.2 million, it's still 3 months only of inventory.
Well,
You get it. Go ahead.
At the lower end, it's 3 months. Great. Total seller's market. And in the higher end, so I've got listings in the blue.
Yeah.
And it's almost 8 months. And that's sort of, so, real estate brokers who are watching, prepare your clients, prepare your sellers that this is not a rapid sale necessarily.
Right. And yeah, you bring up a good point because we do a lot of business in that band of 1.2 to 1.8. And
that's a luxury condo that's not the high end, crazy, fantastic, lunatic, beautiful.
Right. Okay, showings per property per month. Just what you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
Showings to contract. Now, this is interesting. 13 on the 2.5, 10 on the 1.2 and less.
Well, the 2.5 or more may reflect the new developments like not one better, but
or like St. Regis. That's a really good point. Yeah.
It's where lots of people are coming through.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that they use showing time, so who knows?
So follow this 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. So you can't see my arrow, can you? But it's down here, but then it pops up over everything else.
Yeah.
And then it comes back down.
I wonder if that's one Chicago.
Could be.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There are always months that skew things.
Right. Yeah.
Very interesting stats. And next week we're going to bring you people's what's happening around the country, because sometimes we focus really on Chicago, but and people think, well, Chicago's what's happening everywhere, or Chicago's an outlier and bad. But when you see what's going on around the country, you'll say, oh, Chicago's not so terrible, or right. Chicago's really interesting. All right, so let's now talk real estate news. Anne, you're going to have to pull up that thing for us. Thank you. We're going to talk about mansion tax status, interest rates, and dispensaries. I'm not able to move it. You're going to have to move it.
You're not able to move it? Oh.
So you all may have heard that they're going to change the transfer tax, or there's talk about changing the transfer tax structure for Chicago. Currently, it's buyers pay 0.075 of the purchase price. Tell them the number.
$750 per thousand.
700, yeah, $7.50 per thousand. So I did some math for you people. But that's the next slide. But first of all, Bring Chicago Home is what Mayor Johnson is calling his proposed change to the transfer tax. And he says that he's going to use the money raised in this change to help fund homeless solutions in and around Chicago. So they're calling it Bring Chicago Home, so BCH. So they're going to reduce from 0.75% for sale down to 6.6% for sales under 1 million. So $6 for every $1,000 for sales under $1 million. He proposes to increase it to 1% for sales between $1 million and $1.5 million, and 3% for sales over $1.5 million. Now, the real estate business, real estate hacks, block of interested people are up in arms about this because it's going to significantly increase costs, and we'll show you. And Alderman Brian Hopkins of the Second Ward has recently put forth options. So Bring Chicago Home is not something that the city council can impose on us. It's going to go to referendum, and that referendum will appear on the ballot in March. Okay, so everyone gets to vote on it. Brian Hopkins wants to add other options to the referendum. So it's not up or down on this one, but maybe that there would be, he would like to make it incredibly complex so that it doesn't pass. But anyway, he would like the state of Illinois to direct funds to combat homelessness, to not put it entirely on Chicago's shoulders. He wants to decrease the tax rate for properties under 500,000 and increase it for higher sales, but not as much. So it would go down for a smaller segment, the majority of property sales, but not for property sales under over 500,000. And he would like funds to be raised to fight homelessness through other funding sources, through tax increases for other funding sources that are not yet currently explained. So
I always get nervous when they do things like this. It's kind of like the lottery, you know, how much of that lottery really goes to state education? That was its intended purpose, but you know, and if he does this, is it really going to go to homelessness, or is it going to be going to some other?
No one has confidence, and yet at the same time, everyone realizes that we, like every other city in America, have a huge homeless problem, and that homeless problem has been exacerbated by the refugees who've been who are being housed here. So it's complicated. So I wanted to give you an example of this. So today, for a sale just under $1 million, the transfer tax would be $7,500. Okay, a little 1 cent or something under that. But under BCH, Bring Chicago Home, a buyer would pay $6,000. So that's a $1,500 savings. Nice. So for a sale just under 1.5 million, so in that bracket where it would go up to 1%, today a buyer pays $11,250, and they would pay, somebody do the math, $3,750 more, and it would be $15,000. So that's a somewhat of an increase. I mean, it's an increase.
It's an increase.
It's a relatively large increase, but not astronomical. The example 3, though, and I just used 1.75, but it could be a $4 million house. For just a $1.75 million house, today they pay $13,125, and afterwards, under Bring Chicago Home, the buyer would pay $52,500.
I think you picked a really good number there, because there are a number of homes throughout Lincoln Park, Lakeview, North Center at that price point.
And higher. So just to show the jump.
Yeah.
Almost $40,000.
That's
significant.
Crazy.
And I don't know. So let's just say, because if somebody's getting a mortgage, I mean, it's just going to be a significant chunk out of the options for a buyer who's not paying cash and has all the cash in the world. It's just a big chunk out of their purchasing power. So that's just significant. Okay, so
that's going to result in lower prices or credits to the buyer. You know, oh boy. Okay.
So we'll deal with it, but guess what? It doesn't become law unless we vote for it.
Right.
Or we don't vote. Okay. Mortgage rates jumped last week because we had a very strong jobs report. The 10-year Treasury yield spiked. It's come down a little bit.
This is the highest number we've seen.
This is the highest number we've seen, and the economy is really strong. However, economists are saying that while the economy is strong and the job market is tight, wage growth has slowed, which is a good sign. People are employed, which is great for paying mortgages, great for the real estate market, which is explaining why it's still relatively strong in Chicago. But interest rates are high, and they're going to remain sort of in this level for a while.
Right.
Don't be looking for rates to moderate until late 2024, if then. It may take a couple of years for this to shake out. So heads up. And
right. Oh, but let me say one quick thing. The one piece of news we got this week is if you're thinking of investing in a multi-unit owner occupied units can get in with as little as 5% down now. It's a new Fannie Mae rule. That's a big deal for people who want to jump into the investment market. Okay. Dispensaries.
So, and this is just for people who are sort of concerned about dispensaries coming into neighborhoods. So currently dispensaries, or people who want to set up a dispensary have to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals to get a special use approval, and it's a pretty complicated process. And the Zoning Board of Appeals is appointed, not elected. So it's a process with a lot, which dispensary wannabes are find exhausting and difficult to go through. But it's the current process, and city council members have proposed a new process where the alderman and the city's council's zoning committee gets to decide whether a dispensary can go into a specific location. And there are neighborhoods, there are wards where the aldermen really want control and really want to be able to say no. And I get it. Their constituents really don't want it, and they want to have control. Industry leaders are open to change, but that one of the changes would be that the current restrictions on zoning are eased in certain neighborhoods, especially the south and west sides. But they would prefer to keep it with the Zoning Board of Appeals, although to speed things up. But the elder people, they want to decide. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I tell you what, these aldermen in Chicago have so much power.
And there are plenty of them.
And, just because you give the power to the alderman doesn't mean that you're getting better influence. I don't know. You and I were talking about this earlier, and I thought you had a really good point that when we're driving by all over the city as we work real estate, I don't see dispensaries as being places where people are loitering or causing trouble or doing anything like that. They seem to be just places of business like anything else. And I haven't seen a problem anywhere I've seen them. And in fact, I kind of laughed because I'm like, oh, there's a dispensary. I didn't know that was there, because it just doesn't look like,
Change is hard. We've all found this. It was scary when it started, that what's this going to mean for my neighborhood? I get it. But I totally agree with you, Anne, that I have not observed weird behavior. Now, I'm not aware of every single dispensary all across the city, but my own sense from driving around and being in the neighborhoods and passing one and going, oh, that's a dispensary.
Yeah.
But so I get it. But anyway, that's what's happening in real estate adjacent news.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So we can see a pretty property or talk. You want to see the pretty property?
I just need to see some pretty property.
I love seeing pretty properties. Okay. This is 1941 West Dickens. It's been on the market now for 10 days, priced at $4,250,000.
Is this
And
Town or is this Lincoln Square? Because it's right almost at Damon.
this would be like
No,
Bucktown.
I meant Logan Square. Yeah. This is Bucktown. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Isn't that awesome? Look at the old Hunt Club sign.
Remember the Hunt Club?
Yeah, that was it. I mean, this is
At
a
the
prominent
property. Oh,
Chicagoan.
look at that. All that pink. I love the pink and the green. Oh,
Yeah, you love the pink. This is a 60 by 124 lot built in 2013.
what's the price on this beauty?
4250.
$4,250,000.
You got a pizza oven right in your kitchen there if you like your pizza.
I
There's
was trying to start liking pizza more than I do. Oh,
the art and decorating in here is really fun. Isn't it fun to see something that is not just plain gray? I love the color. Love, love, love.
cute.
And there are the stairs to downstairs. Look at the closet here. Isn't that awesome? The primary. I had to throw that in. I love the shoes.
Oh my God.
Okay, now I need to go to a second set because this was, here you go. Here's the bathroom. Downstairs.
Pool table.
Collection of ice buckets. Cute. Workout. Okay, now we're going to go back to outside, which I love. Okay.
Pizza oven out there too.
Yeah.
Pizza oven?
This is a big pizza oven area. Look at that. Would that not be awesome for entertaining?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's not very expensive for all that you're getting.
Look at that. Isn't it? You have your own little cabana.
And a hot tub.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Side yard still. Yeah. I thought that was fun.
Pretty.
Okay. So we've been talking about luxury, and Kyle put together some notes on who is the luxury buyer and how do you as a seller of a luxury home appeal to the luxury buyer?
Well, it was interesting. I went for some training in luxury sales and who our luxury buyer is these days. And what's really interesting is this intergenerational wealth means that, as well as self-made people, but that the luxury buyer is getting younger. Women are now 54% of luxury homeowners under age 35. Wow. And they value different things. So I always think that luxury people just like luxury. But it's interesting. The younger luxury homeowners are very tech savvy. They like eco luxury. So, they'll love solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
So legacy values. They appreciate brands. They appreciate things with heritage. So those are, and they view themselves as and I think virtuous luxury buyers.
There you go.
Yeah. Social responsibility and brand name recognition. And the reason we're sharing that, okay, so fully 91% are going to make more additional investments in real estate. Either they're going to trade up their primary home in Chicago, or they're going to come to Chicago for a home. We're starting to see, and I want to hear your views on this. I'm starting to see people moving away for climate. That people are coming to Chicago from places that they moved to for tax reasons or for winter weather, and they're coming back. Are you seeing that?
I'm seeing that somewhat too. And, I have, people really want the city. They want the culture. They want walkability.
Yes. This younger demographic really wants to get out of the car.
Yes, exactly right.
So,
and as you said, focused on sustainability, social responsibility. I'm seeing younger people really caring about, what's in the house that's sustainable materials. They want to do geothermal for heat. or solar panels. Although that's tougher here in Chicago, the solar panels, but geothermal's a biggie that, that can certainly do that. And
I had European buyers at one of my listings ask whether there was radiant heat throughout the unit. And I thought, interesting, because that's a European thing.
yeah.
It's just all very interesting. And it's so, and the smart house, the controlled house,
Yeah.
digital platforms controlling their lives is huge. Now, the reason we're providing you this information is sellers of luxury properties in Chicago that's defined as $1 million or more. Pay attention to this. We're all thinking, well, I paid X for this, and let's say I paid $1.5 million for a property, 8 years ago. I should have appreciation on my investment, and I get it. But the luxury buyer is expecting more than you expected back
Ding, ding, ding. That's exactly it.
years ago.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they are not viewing your home necessarily as luxury, except at the price point.
You're right. Luxury sellers, you're not selling to you. Right? Isn't that basically
You
it?
wouldn't either.
What's that?
They're not selling to you 10 years ago.
Right.
Your buyer is not you 10 years ago.
Exactly right. It's a whole different thing. Okay.
Yeah. Smart technologies and improvements that say sustainability, but look, when you're trying to decide, how should I upgrade this unit? What changes should I make? Talk to us, read up on what luxury people are doing, which is making it smarter. Make your home smarter, make it connected, make it digital, and
staging's key. It's tougher if you've been in your home 25 years and you have loved the decorating that you did 25 years ago, but that's not going to appeal to today's buyer. And the easiest way to handle this is to figure out how to move to your next place and then just let that old place go and let the staging take over and make it appeal to these new buyers. It'll be worth it. You will yield more in your sales price and it will sell faster.
And that the point we made earlier about women luxury buyers. Think about when you're staging and when you're making upgrades, the things that appeal to the woman buyer. So even in a multi-buyer situation, meaning there are two people, appeal to the woman because she's going to be making decisions.
Right. Now I was showing a combination unit at 161 Chicago Olympia, and it was lovely and the husband loved it, but the closet situation was wonky. There were 3 different closets. She's like, do I get my underwear from here, get my shoes from here, and get my dress from over here? That doesn't work. And so they're not buying it.
I have luxury buyers who want her office near the kitchen.
Yeah.
They want an entrance for the pet that makes sense with washing, with a way of washing the paws.
Right.
You want a laundry room that is not just a closet with a stacked unit. There needs to be workspace. So for luxury people, start thinking about, how do I make my space make sense to the luxury buyer? And
then finally, choose agents who can convey the luxury message to the buying public. So
deeply knowledgeable about the offering, people who understand who the luxury buyer is and who can speak to them in a way that meets them where they are. That's going to be most helpful to you.
Absolutely right.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's our luxury talk of the day, of the week. Thank you for bringing that. And thank you everybody for watching. If you have questions about real estate, about the market, about what you need to do, please reach out to us. Subscribe and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and all the places that we're at, because we are everywhere. And next week, we are going to talk more national numbers, and we're going to talk about specific marketplaces that you might be interested in investing in. So be sure to tune in. Thanks for watching.